Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. We are going to continue our journey in learning just a little bit more about this amazing language every day. So yesterday we talked about, excuse me of the presentation. It's slower. Yesterday we talked about 法网恢恢, which is describing the law and order in a society, forms against the civil society or the population of there, almost like a net of law maintaining mechanism that is cast wide, even if you may not feel it, you may not in direct contact with it, but it exists. So whenever you break the law, it's not that far for you to get into the net. And today we have a continuation of that net, in a continuation of how you're going to face the consequence of the net, which is somewhat related to law or law breaking in 网开一面. Okay, we have 网, the same 网, and it could be like, okay, you break the law, rule, or something, you were captured into the net, right? And this is our net symbol that has this space and two crosses. You can see I use a different one. So this is one rendering of the net. This is another one, even cleaner, but only two repeated of the crosses next to each other is enough to signify this is a continuation, multiplication of that structure, which is kind of a woven together structure, a net. And kai means open, and it came from the door opening practice. This is the ancient door frame, and it's a two-panel door. So it's like kind of sitting like this. This is the door. And the reason why we have some panel over here is because my theory is when we look at the door, especially the ancient times, like right now we are, I guess, after the time of Bauhaus, which is a super simplification of things, after the industrial or after the luxurious time of making things extra complicated as a display of wealth or taste. So Bauhaus, back then, almost 100 years ago in Germany, right, started over there as this process of simplifying things. As a result, majority of us living environment, at least the door, some are decorated, but a lot of them are non-decorated, right? It looks plain, just one panel. But ancient times here, the door could be the decorated version. And because like a door, mostly if you view door as a representation of the household and you have limited resources, you're going to place that decoration portion on the eye level of the visitor. So when the visitor come visit, knock on the door, the visitor's eye level is going to see this portion of the door, right? And that's where you're going to decorate it with something like that. And the bottom is just a mechanical structure. Okay, so that's our upper eye level decoration of the door. My theory, it may not be true. And you see this 3-finger hand symbol. And here you see the left and right hand, both depicted in this frame. That means door opening in the ancient times is a two-hand action. You cannot open the door by one hand. Unlike today, we have door knobs, even the, I don't know, the ring or something like automatic door opening, right? Back then, door opening is two-hand practice involved with this latch. So you have to unlatch things to open the door. So door opening in this frame further extended into open anything. So this open action abstracted into a generic open, not just door, but anything. Gift opening, I guess, especially. Okay, so net open. So in this context, we say 网开一面. In this context, it means open the net. And 一面, okay, by itself, it's pronounced, our number 1 in Chinese, pronounced as 一. But because 一 is flat, and then right next to it is a falling tone. So to make the falling tone, because to let a tone fall, you have to start from a high ground before you can slide to a low ground or lower pitch, right? It will be simply easier to rise your tone first, to reach that point already, and then the next pronunciation start from that high ground going low. That's just logic. That makes pronunciation easier. So we have 网开一面 instead. So we rise the tone. So it reach 一, and then from there, 面, it drop down. Instead of 网开一面. Okay, 一面, you can still say it, but it's not as easy as it is 一面. 一面, right? It's easier that way. And by the way, that's a teller of for a native speaker to tell if this is a foreigner or not, because this came from life. This is spoken Chinese in action, like in real life rendering. We don't say bookish way that go by the book. It's 一面, but we go with 一面 because it's dependent on the next sound. Falling tone, we rise it up and then go down. Okay, 一面, 一 is just horizontal line, just one thing, and that's simple understanding of that. And according to philosophers or scholars, this one line signifies the sky. I guess it's tied with the genesis or the view of how Chinese as a culture view itself started. So we start from the sky first, and then the second line, which is a number 2, is the ground. And then the third line is the human beings in between the sky and the ground. So heaven, earth, human. That's 1, 2, 3. Okay. So this is 1, you go, and you can see it's written a little bit different from here, right? Or from this. It's different writing style, and it came from different sources. So over history, so many people write Chinese characters in so many different ways. And we're trying to simplify it, use mostly in this cleanup view. But sometimes we have stylized. So it starts in a kind of edge like that, and then go like this, and then stop with kind of stopper there. It looks like written with inked brush, right? So if you know a little bit about Chinese calligraphy, it has a start and it has to have an end. And there are different ways of end, and this is one stylized ending of that. Okay, enough of 1. 面, we have the face, which is the whole out external circle, and the internal circle. Okay, actually, the internal circle here is a face as well. And then we have the nose bridge and the nostril, because nose is the center of the face. So language creator just use one feature on your face to represent the whole face. And this line is the whole face. And now somebody create a second layer of that, go around the whole thing. So I guess it's, instead of using just the face by itself, it's circulated again to emphasize that's the outlayer circle that we're talking about. We're not talking about the features like nose or everything unwritten over there. We're not talking about any features on the face. We're talking about the face itself, the sphere, the external, the outside line. So this is like circulated again as an indicator. It's this peripheral that we're talking about. It's called no parameter. No. Okay, forget about it. My English is sliding. Okay, 网开一面. As a Chinese user, when I hear 网开一面, it means somebody got pardoned, got excused, got forgiven, especially get caught, right? And then if that person is in a position to choose to punish or forgive some people, and they choose to forgive, and that's the 网开一面. And as the language, just by the surface of the word, I would think like 网开一面 means somebody got captured as if cast under a net, right? Trapped within the net. And 网开一面 means like you open only one side to let that person go. That's the logic of what I have. But until I search up on this word, it actually means the ancient capture with net, say capturing bird. So this net structure of bird capturing, like a bird temporary cage thing, 网开一面 actually means you open all three sides and leave only one side over there. So it's almost like that one side they're leaving is for some viewer to trick them. Okay, the net is still there, it's not open. So this to give a facade of the net is still there, but all the other three sides are open, so the birds can fly out. In the context, if we just came from this 法网恢恢, it talks about breaking the law, and the net was cast vast. It's great and grand. I mean, I don't want to repeat the same thing. That's not the English style, but Chinese have no problem repeating the same structure and make it extended into from one person's overambitious feature next to another overambitious people together. That means a whole population overambitious. And that means they're so beyond themselves. It's so grand. So that's the 法网恢恢 in the context of law, maintaining law orders. And here, 网开一面 means like, yes, somebody did committed a crime, probably not that major crime. And so it's up to the local judge to tell if they are going to be captured, punished, or they are going to be let go. And in this case, 网开一面 means they are let go. They are forgiven. And I just use it as amnesty, like in America too, right? Amnesty by the president once in a while. It's not predictable, but there are such practice to show mercy from the authority who set the rules and maintain the rules. And occasionally they will forgive people. I don't know for what causes, but such a practice apparently in both societies of English and Chinese language using societies have. I use the bird simply because 网 a lot of times use to capture birds, and this cutie birds could benefit from this 网开一面 practice. Okay, cash into the currency of thinking by one word a day with Sophie. See you another day.